All right, let's dive right into one of the most exciting and maybe a little scary questions in tech right now. With all these super powerful AIs, the large language models, are data scientists about to be out of a job? Or is something totally different going on?
Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. This is the big question, right? Can an AI really do a data scientist's job? The complex stuff like figuring out customer groups or spotting which products people buy together. Well, the short answer is, yeah, they can. But, and this is a huge but, the way they do it is completely different.
So to really get this, let's stop thinking about them as just technology. Instead, picture them as two different experts on your team. First, you've got the large language model. Think of this one as your super intuitive consultant. It's creative, it gets the big picture. Then on the other side, you have your traditional algorithms. This is your precise mathematical tool, your super detailed engineer who works with hard numbers and follows the rules exactly. So let's throw a couple of challenges their way and see how they do.
Okay, challenge number one. This is a classic business problem, right? You've got this huge pile of customer feedback, reviews, comments, you name it, and you need to sort them into groups that actually make sense so you can understand who your customers are. Let's see how our two different experts handle this.
So our engineer, the traditional algorithm, pulls out a tool called k-means. It's a classic for a reason. It's fantastic at grouping data. But here's the catch. It works by measuring the mathematical distance between data points. And to do that, it needs one thing, and it's non-negotiable. It needs numbers. And that's where we hit the engineer's big limitation. It lives in a world of pure math. It has no idea that when one customer says a product is durable and another says it's well-made, they mean pretty much the same thing. To the algorithm, those are just two different strings of letters. It can't see the meaning unless a human comes along and does the hard work of turning all that language into numbers first.
Okay, now let's see how our consultant, the LLM, cackles this. Its approach is totally different. Why? Because it doesn't need numbers. Step 1. It just reads the customer reviews. It actually understands the words. Step 2. It starts grouping the reviews based on what they mean, on their semantic similarity. And then, step 3, and this is where it gets really cool, it comes up with a name for the group, a name that a human can actually understand.
And here's a perfect example of that in action. The LLM sees one review that says, the product quality is great, very durable, and another that says, it's like new after 3 years, solid workmanship. It gets that both of these are about the same thing, quality, and groups them together. But it doesn't just stop there. It slaps a label on the group, quality-conscious customers. See the difference? That's not just processing data. That's generating real insight.
All right, challenge number 2. Let's talk about associating products. That classic people who bought this also bought thing you see online? That's called market basket analysis. It's super important for figuring out how to lay out a store or what to recommend on a website. So our engineer comes back with another classic tool, the a priori algorithm. This thing is all about pure, hard data. It just churns through all your sales receipts, all that transactional data, and uses strict statistical rules to find patterns. It only cares about the cold, hard facts of what people actually bought. And the result you get is incredibly precise. The engineer will tell you something like, okay, based on your data, exactly 62.5% of people who buy bread also buy milk. And it'll add a lift score telling you how significant that is. It's all numbers, it's totally verifiable, and it's based 100% on what happened in your store. No guesswork.
Now our consultant, the LLM, it takes a completely different approach. In fact, it doesn't even ask for your sales data. Instead, it just taps into its own vast world knowledge. Basically, everything it's ever learned from reading pretty much the entire internet about, well, everything. It uses common sense.
So you ask it, hey, what else would someone buying bread probably want? And it just uses common sense. It'll say, well, probably milk, butter, jam, eggs, maybe some ham. And here's the really amazing part. It tells you why. It'll say because those are all common breakfast foods. It's not looking at your data. It's using its general understanding of how the world works.
So you see the two different styles here, right? We've got the intuitive consultant working from a big picture perspective and the precise engineer working from the ground up with your specific data. They're totally different. So let's put them side by side and break down where each one really shines.
Okay, this table really lays it all out. Look at the data type. The engineer needs clean structure of numbers. The consultant, it loves messy, natural language. And their core skills are different too. One is about precise math, the other is about understanding meaning. But here's the most important part, the trade-off. The engineer's work is 100% reliable and repeatable. You can build a system on it. The consultant, well, it can sometimes hallucinate, make things up. So it's fantastic for exploring ideas and getting new insights, but you probably don't want it making critical decisions on its own.
So it's becoming pretty clear they're not really competing for the same job, are they? They're collaborators. The LLM, our data strategist, is like the explorer. It goes into that messy jungle of data and finds the interesting paths and stories. Then, the algorithm, our data engineer, comes in behind it. It's the builder. It uses its precise tools to pave those paths, verify everything, and build something solid and reliable. So, what's the final takeaway here? We started this whole thing by asking if AI is going to replace data scientists. But after seeing all this, it feels like we were asking the wrong question all along.
The verdict is in, and it's pretty clear. LLMs aren't a replacement. No way. What they are is an unbelievably powerful collaborator. They're an accelerator that makes the whole data science process faster, more creative, and more insightful.
And really, that's the bottom line. The future of data science isn't about choosing one or the other, the consultant or the engineer. The most powerful, groundbreaking work is going to come from combining them. You take the incredible intuitive insights from the LM and you pair them with the rigorous, rock-solid validation from the traditional algorithms.
And that leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. This model, this partnership between the creative strategist and the precise engineer, that's not just a data science thing, is it? So think about this. What other fields out there are about to be totally transformed by this powerful new team? Medicine? Law? The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.